Good morning. I was watching my last video and I sort of looked like warmed over death. Not much enthusiasm I had there then. Anyway, this will be my last video I'm going to upload for just a short while, as I have some nagging health issues I have to attend to. So I may upload a few of my alter ego videos, a little squatty headed guy, but I want to talk about the debate the other night, and I don't know if you noticed it, but I noticed it. Ron Paul was the only candidate who spoke about the Constitution, who actually used the word neoconservative, and spoke about Israel can take care of herself. She's got a couple of hundred nukes, and none of your other candidates like that. And essentially, everything that Ron Paul said in the debate was the truth. It's just the common sense truth. And this is what America needs right now. We need a man who is going to be a leader, who has wisdom. And I thought it was kind of interesting when Sean Hannity was trying to pin him down with his famous gotcha questions, either answer it yes or no, or trying to put a person in a position to where they have to look bad. And Sean just wasn't quite successful with old Paul, was he? And Sean kind of used the word so-called neoconservative. And also Ron Paul was absolutely correct when he said that the majority of your neoconservatives are ex-Democrats. They're ex-liberal, hawkish Democrats, and they're not really Democrats anymore. So the majority of them have never donned a military uniform. They have no idea, what it's like to fight a war. To find out who they are, just go on Google and type in USA neoconservatives, and it's just amazing how powerful they've become over the last 10 years. Just amazing. It's just amazing how their doctrine of preemptive war and these potential enemies years down the road that we have to attack now is rapidly becoming a part of the social consciousness of America, the collective consciousness, as I would call it. So everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. So my hat is really out there on Paul. He did a great job. Now all we got to do is we got to vote in the primaries, and we got to get Ron Paul on the ballot. And I really don't care if the mainstream or the conservative media likes Ron Paul. What I care about is what he stands for, and he stands for our constitutional values. He stands for our Bill of Rights. He stands for our rights of privacy. He stands for non-intervention in foreign countries, just to keep our hands off of those people. Just keep them off. I still don't know how we're going to get out of Iraq. The longer we stay there, the more boys are going to die, and the more Iraqi citizens are going to die. So probably the best thing to do is just to go ahead and begin withdrawing. And wise, intelligent leadership can form a global alliance. We can work together with the world to look at Al-Qaeda and the different nations that they're in. And if we have to impose sanctions on certain nations, we have to impose the sanctions with the understanding that these sanctions that we impose hurt the people who can least afford it in those nations, the poor. And this is the way it is in any war. This is the way it is in any natural disaster. Who suffers the most? The poor, the lower income. Look at Hurricane Katrina. Many of those people, they did not have a way out of New Orleans. They didn't have the money, and of course they were in denial too. Who would have thought that would happen, even though it was predicted? So the people who have gotten out of Iraq, over I don't know how many million, and are in refugee camps in Syria, and I'm sure that the people who have the money, and it's always this way, the people who have the money, they never really suffer because they have the money to get out of terrible impending conditions that might be coming. And this is what makes it also unfortunate, it's always the poor, it's always the less fortunate who suffer in any kind of natural catastrophe, in any kind of war, and we all know this. You know, it'd be nice if I was wealthy. I'm not. It'd be nice if I had perfect health. I don't. There are realities in my life I have to accept, and there are truths, and you know, it's my truth. It's no one else's truth. I understand that my truth may not be your truth, and that's fine. That's fine. So once again, Fox News, you know, even though they limited Ron Paul in the questioning, and which is to be expected, we have to continue to work our butts off, and I mean work our butts off, because America and its children and its children's children depend on the 2008 elections as to what happens to our country. Do we continue in this downward spiral? Do we continue with this neoconservative philosophy just completely engulfing the entire social consciousness of America, the fabric of our life? Or do we actively begin to work to somehow restore sanity back into Washington? And I don't know if sanity was ever in Washington. Probably never was. It's a long journey, isn't it? It's a long trip, you know. But it's worth it. Our country is worth it. Too many of our brave young men and women have died throughout the years in wars, protecting our freedoms, protecting our Constitution. And to allow a rogue bunch of neoconservatives to run roughshod and bully over everyone is simply no longer acceptable. So we have to do whatever it takes. One guy said, you know, boycott the sponsors. I don't know. Boycotts to a certain extent work. It just all depends how they're handled. To me, the best advice I could give anybody is just to tell your friends to quit watching Fox News. Their ratings are already slipping. You know, Roger Ailes was in a panic a year ago, and you know, he's snapping his whip on the people. Let's make the programs more entertaining, more slanderous. Let's continue to frame our questions in the right way. Let's continue to fence people in a negative sense, you know. I spoke about that in video 3, if you know, with the little squatty-headed guy. And if you haven't watched that video about negative and positive word association, I encourage you to. So I am pleased, especially when old Sean Hannity said, "Oh no, here we go again." Well, let's hope that this "oh no, here we go again" applies to the rest of the debates, applies to the primaries, and let's get Ron Paul elected president. Take care, my friends, and have a nice day. And I hope I look a little bit more alive today. Okay? Bye-bye.